are now live. So great. For everyone watching on YouTube, thank you for joining us. For those joining us here, thank you for coming, Claudia, Walter, and a really big thank you to our special guest, Lylian Peraza, for joining us. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna have to. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. I have the stream going in another window. Sorry about that. I had an echo, and it was really, it was playing the stream in my left headphone. Okay, and that was really hard to concentrate. But now we're good. Okay, so today we're going to talk about one laptop per child, and basically just have a conversation with Lylian Peraza. Maybe Lylian, you can introduce yourself, your role at One Laptop Per Child, otherwise known as OLPC, and maybe a little bit of what you did before coming to OLPC, how you got involved with OLPC.
Right. Well, first, thank you very much, Devin, and everyone, Walter and Claudia, for the invitation. It's great to have the space to talk about what is going on with OLPC today at 2024. I'm Lylian Peraza. I'm the vice president of One Laptop Per Child. And before that, I'm a teacher, and I have been working in technology and education since 2000 around, probably. I work for different companies, private sector, and I learned a lot. I mean, I learned that I was really into identify a program that is really transforming lives. When OLPC starts in 2005, I was in another company, and I was thinking, okay, what can we do, and what's going on with this? No, the computers were something like very new for everyone. And I have been into the topic of technology and education since 2000. I say, I don't know, maybe a little less, but I would say 2000, just so no one can say my age. I don't know. No, I don't care. and I'm super happy to be here, Devin, again, and super happy to have the opportunity to talk and to answer any question that you want. And for us, it's has been so many years learning, and I think that we are in the perfect moment right now, and we are so happy to share with you what we have and what we have been done, and what we're doing and what we expect to do in the future.
Great. So yes, speaking of what you are doing now, last time we spoke, I think you got a delivery of like 40,000 new laptops.
Correct.
Maybe you could tell us a little bit about
yeah, great. Okay,
these new laptops and your plans for them.
Yeah, perfect. Great question. Yeah, since I know that most of the people who are probably listening to this conversation knows a little bit about what OLPC was at the beginning in 2005 when it starts in Uruguay with Negroponte and MIT. Since that moment until today, the foundation has been brought by Roberto Zamora and Grupo La Fice, and in 2009, and since that moment until now, we have been learning so many things, and not just in OLPC, but in general with some other projects that we all know that are in every government, or in Portugal or Latin America, Africa, no. And yes, as you said, Devin, right now we have been, like, for the last 14 years very focused on Central America, and the last thing that we did was in Roatan. We deploy a project of 5,000 computers. Like, the whole island is an island, Roatan, an island in Honduras, and we deploy 5,000 computers there. Every single student in the island has a computer. Our computer, of course, XO, and we use Linux in these computers. At the beginning, we used different software, but we end using Linux because clearly it's better. It's the way we start, and it's the way that we want to keep working with the new schools and the new projects that we have. I think that Roatan, what you can see in Roatan is the sustainability that we have been achieved in years, and how can we really transform something, and how can we really keep something going when, when at the end it's something that is it's not depending just on the computer, no, it depends on the teacher, it depends on different things. But yeah, mainly today, I don't know, but someone I think is opening the microphone, my microphone, but I'm by myself. Do you hear the noise, or it's just me?
I hear the noise. I don't
But
know
it's
where
not
the
me
noise
because.
is coming from.
Um, oh, well, okay. I can I keep talking, but someone is with the mic. As I was saying, we learn. I mean, since 2009, we decided that one thing that was very important was to have not just a computer, but the service for the computer was very important. Also, the teacher was important. I mean, at the beginning, probably having computers in the school was like super nice, and everyone was like thinking, okay, if I have my computer, everyone can learn math, Spanish, everything. And it's not like that, as you all know. It's more that you need someone who can at least facilitate something, and we don't want to be anymore the organization that gives computers to the classroom. We want to say that we want to have computers in the teacher learning process, which is very different than just in the classroom. For us, it's very important to have a community involved, to learn how to talk with the parents, with the principals, students, family, everyone around the school is important for us. So we don't say that it's a school project; it's more a community project what we're doing right now. And we're about to start in Rwanda, another big thing, and we are in different countries, Seychelles and other places around the world, and ready to keep working. There's a lot of people who really need us, so we're waiting.
Great. Yeah, that's really helpful. So one thing that you mentioned, I think already is a little bit of a myth buster. Like a lot of people who might have kind of who were following OLPC for a little bit, but then uh, only got a little bit of the news, assumed that OLPC moved to Windows. But you're telling us that you are continuing to run GNU Linux. And I think 2 weeks ago when you and I met, you had a specific distribution that you were using. Can you tell us a little bit more about like the reason you decided to keep going with GNU Linux and the particular distribution that you chose and why you chose it?
Sure, sure. Yeah. Um, well, as we said, as we talked the other day, we started using Microsoft Windows and in different schools, and when we use Windows, it's because the government has an agreement or the schools has agreements that are, I mean, that for us is, I mean, for us is, I don't want to say it's irrelevant, but for us, if you want to use Windows or Linux, it depends on the client, it depends on the school, it depends on the government or on the institution. No? Those who start using Windows, what happened for us was that was expensive. In what sense? Was expensive because most of the kids they don't use the whole thing, and the other thing was expensive for us to buy every single license, and everything around the private software. It's, it's it's a lot of money. When you think about volume, it's better to have open source because of course you don't pay for the software, even though you pay for other things. It's not for, yeah. I don't know if you have the option to silence the microphone.
Yeah, I don't know how
Maybe there's a
where I mean, could you try just muting once real quick to see if we're
me.
just this is just a troubleshooting thing. Yeah, so the sound is stopping when you mute. I don't know if you can go into your sound settings and maybe kind of like reset it
If
or
my
something?
if I put my mute, it's it's done.
Yeah, but the surprising thing is it didn't happen, like 5 minutes ago when we started. So
Let me see. It's now better. I
that's a
don't know.
lot better.
Now I cannot hear anything, but I don't know if it was me or someone else because I didn't touch anything. But well,
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Okay, now we're back. We're back. Okay, we were talking about the software, no? The software that we use. I mean, everything that we use. It's not just the software. Everything that we use, the training topics, everything is around how can we help the teachers to integrate technology in the classroom. So one thing that we learn is when you use open source, we use Endless right now. Is the open source the system, the operative system that we use right now, and it's easy for them in terms of it's more basic, I will say. They don't have so many things that they can use, but it's perfect for them. And then what we want is not everyone to be the expert in a specific software. We want the teachers to learn how to integrate technology during the whole process of teaching. No, so we plan with them. We have a monitor that is in charge of every single school. So every school has one person who is every single day or month or whatever. I mean, in WhatsApp, every time connected with the teachers, because at the end, the important is not to have the computer or to use one or another software. At the end, what we really want is to use. No, I would say that at the beginning, when Negroponte started this a model, the whole topic was the access. The whole thing was around access. And then we learned, because not just because OLPC, but some other institutions and some other schools, then we learned that it's not just access, it's about usage also. And it's also about integration, which is for me the most important part of the whole model. No? So in our model, as I was saying, we have the device, we have the monitoring and evaluation part, which is also important for us. And because we can see the pre and post of every single student that is in our model. So we know how they start and how do they end in terms of math and Spanish at the beginning, or linguistic, let's say. It's not, because it's not as Spanish, it can be in English too. And then we also have a very specific system that gave us a dashboard that has all the information about where are the teachers when we start and where are the teachers at the end of the year. So we train the teachers, we support them during the whole year, we do the monitoring and evaluation, and we also do the maintenance and support of the computer per se. No, how we do that with the community. We teach the students and teachers for the first level of technical issues, and then we teach other. I mean, if there's something different or harder than the first level, then we go to a specific channel and repair everything. No, I know Walter has something to say.
No, it's a question. I was just curious. You mentioned there's a monitor at every school. To what extent do things vary from school to school, and how do you accommodate for that?
How it varies? You say? Sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
It-
How do things vary from school to school?
I mean,
Is
I
it
will say that there's, in terms of, at least in terms of Central America, there's three things that for me are very important. One is the idea that everyone has that, okay, if you give computers to a rural community, they will be lost, they're going to broke it, that's not happening at all. I mean, we just gave 5,000, as I said, and out of the 5,000, I think one was lost, and we know where was, because we can track the computer, so we know where the computer was. So that was the first thing, that normally when you sit in a play, when you sit with academicians, or when you sit with international organizations, or even principals or governments, they always say like, no, let's give food, because computers, they're going to lose, or they're going to broke it, or they're going to, I don't know, there's going to be a problem, whatever. This is not happening, and thanks God, and this is not going to happen, I hope, in the rest of the years. They really care about having a computer, and they really want to have something like a computer, no? So that was one thing. The second thing that is common in every single school is the expectations of the teachers at the beginning, because they are very scared on how can we do this. I don't want to do, I mean, as you see, and as you, because you have, I know that you know some schools around the world, as you have seen teachers who are very old and teachers who are very young. So this idea of because they are old or they are young is not going to work is also not happening. And this is something that I will say that depends on the model, and it's something that for us is our differentiator. No, that we are with the teachers since the beginning all the way for 3 years. We are in the school for 3 years constantly with them. No, this is another thing, the expectation of that we have about the teachers. But then what the teacher thinks they know and what the teachers really know is the thing that I would say varies. Sometimes they say, I know everything. And when you try something, they have no idea what they're doing. And sometimes they say, no, I don't know, but then they know, no? So the perception that each teacher has about knowing technology is always related with the phone. They think because they know how to use phones, so they know how to use computers, no? And maybe they know how to use it, but it's not what we want. We don't want them to use the computer. We want to integrate technology in the learning process. So that was the second thing. And the third thing that I think varies sometimes, it could be the motivation that they have in terms of depends on the principal. I would say that the principal is a key element for us, and the families. If you have families and principals that are really involved in the program or involved with us, the results are way much better. But not in terms of the learning per se, but in terms of the deploy, in terms of the sustainability, in terms of the control, and in terms also about the soft skills, because this is not just about learning STEM or learning computer. No, this is also about how to learn to be a better person, how to learn to be, conscious of the environment. There's so many topics around that we really care, and for us that's the most important thing. No, it's not just if the student can read or do math, which would be great if they can do it. No, but it's more than that. So I would say the motivation and the barriers, it depends on the teacher. The rest, I think that everyone is motivated and everyone is expecting to have opportunities. And if you are with them, I mean, if you leave the computers and you left the country and you are not there anymore, for sure it's going to be a failure in terms of deployment. So
it looks like Claudia has a question.
Yeah, I mean, Lylian, it's wonderful to be able to connect. I know we met a few months ago, and many things. It's great to meet you. It's great to learn about what you're doing and your background and your commitment to to kids and to education in the region and the world. So thank you for taking that invitation. I think it's a follow-up of the question that Walter asked. I think it's great that you have data that is across, like if you have data in terms of progress of critical things like sort of academic achievement, like basic foundational knowledge and literacy and math and maybe soft skills and other things, right? I was curious about accommodating for things that are not that. Like, how do you also support the individual goals of different countries or organizations that you're working with? Because I think that, I mean, from my experience now, many, many years ago, working with One Laptop Per Child, there were no, every single program had different goals. Every single program was looking for something, sometimes very specific, and that was great, sometimes very like abstract and broad, and that was the most difficult program sometimes to support. But yeah, so if you have data that compares across, what are the differences? How you support maybe a project in Honduras that is thinking about computation, is thinking about programming, but also how you support a project maybe in, I don't know, South America and Chile that is looking for something different. So how do you also, as an organization, support that difference?
Great question, Claudia, and actually thanks to you, because I mean this conversation can be your conversation, because you probably know more than what I know about the OLPC, and I'm super happy to have this conversation with you and everyone, no. In terms of that, yes, I mean we have different flavors, let's say, in different countries, but at the end, I think that it's not rocket science. You think everyone is thinking that it's really hard because the difference between, I don't know, the rural community in Nicaragua versus the rural community in Argentina. I mean, yeah, but at the end we are human beings, and as a human we want aspirational things, and we have some aspirational things, we have some uh, constraints, and we have different things that are common, no, in the as humans, no. So I would say that the data that we have a lot, is data that represents a specific school or a specific community. Can we compare one another? Yes, for sure, because mostly the academic part, as you said, like, okay, do they read or not? Do they have linguistic competencies, whatever, no, the skills, whatever thing we can compare. What I see is some countries, and not many, are more interested in the STEM area, that always everyone talk about STEM, programming, coding, and these type of things. And at the end, what we learn is, what we have been learning, is that you can teach a student music, coding, Spanish, English, whatever, using a computer and have fun. So what we really want is to make sure that everyone is having fun while they are learning, and using technology as the beginning, Negroponte said, like learning everywhere, no? Because that's the whole thing. So for us, the difference between countries, it can vary in terms of the specific topic. If we are thinking about a project with the president or with the major, that they have a specific goal to solve. But I mean, that's the goal of the major. It's not like the goal of the project per se, no? Maybe I don't know, I'm thinking about Panama, or thinking about other countries where the authorities want STEM and math to be the thing that the legacy that they're going to leave when they leave the country, no, or the government. And we just focus more on that, but because our goal is to integrate technology in the process of learning, the topic, the area, or the results are, for us, is the same. I mean, if you are using the computer during the year in class, in a good way, it's always comparable. No one.
I mean, just before Walter jumps in, I was maybe going much deeper, and like, can you say a couple of things about how the organization can support those things? Because I feel like I agree with you that it is about the transformation that happens once the teacher does a good job integrating technology, taking advantage, developing that fluency, right? But what is the support that you can provide for things that are not like literacy and math, which you're ready to do, and I celebrate that as foundational knowledge, and something that can be used to understand what are the conditions under which this country or this region might do better or not, but what can you do as an organization?
Yeah.
Do you connect them with other people in the ecosystem? Do you partner? And I'm using the partnership in an intentional way, because I think that, Walter, I'm looking at you. We had aspirations to connect again, right? Like Sugar Lab does important things, has been continuing, for many, many years, doing, things that were lunch when we were working as two organizations together. So what are the potential partnerships that Sugar Lab can explore, but others? So I wanted, again, a couple of things you can say about how you support those organizations as one laptop per child.
Got it. Okay. Now I got the question. Yeah, I mean, the way that we work is in partnership with different organizations, and that's the main goal of OLPC today. We have partners with, we are partnered with Endless in this specific case for the software, but we are also partnering with different NGOs in different countries because they know the locals. So it's easy for me to work with someone who knows the country than go in every single country and start an office, OLPC office, or I don't know, Ecuador, Uruguay. This is not something that we really are into or we want to do it. We work in partnership with different organizations. So just to clarify, the way that we work is we have the model, which is the device, the learning and teaching process of formation and support. Then we have all the monitoring and evaluation and everything about maintenance and sustainability. And what I think is in these 4 services, we have different type of alliances or different type of partnerships. No, in the case of teacher training or train the trainers or support teachers, supporting principals, we have been working with Fundación Zamora Terán because we are here in the region and it's part of the organization, the Grupo La FICE model. No, and what do we offer? We offer more than 300 hours of training and sessions in different ways for 3 years. Again, like it could be probably 100 a year, plus WhatsApp and all the following things and everything. No, but yeah, of course, we have different organizations, and we're open and willing to have more organizations that want to work with us, because at the end, this is something that is important for everyone. No, it's not just for OLPC. And OLPC is like the agency who can help governments and institutions to create an ecosystem that I always said is a non-profit ecosystem. That's my dream. Because at the end, what happens if you start adding to the ecosystem, I know, people or organizations, and everyone is asking for money or for whatever because you need to pay this, and that. At the end, the computer and the model is going to be very expensive. No, so we want to have partners. Yeah, we receive donations. We have different ways in terms of money, but in terms of what we do, yes. For example, I'm just thinking about another project in Costa Rica. They want to do something specific for students who are above the average. So it was kind of the honor students, or I don't remember how they call it. And so it's a specific program. So we don't have this specific skill. So we talk with someone in another organization who has the skills. In this case, they train us, and we did the training. But sometimes they go directly to like for example, in I don't know, in Rwanda, that we have organizations who work there, because I'm here in Latin America. No, but yeah, I mean, I'm open and I'm here. I mean, I'm just here with my pencil to sign or to have the emails and contacts, so everyone can be part with, and everyone who wants to work with us, it's open to. I'm more than happy, to start thinking or try to do something together. I think that Walter has something.
Yeah, I very much appreciate that, and I look forward to having Sugar Labs work with you guys. I think there's a lot of good synergy. I wanted to go back and pick up on something you said a little bit earlier. When we started One Laptop Per Child, there was no such thing as a smartphone. So the teachers wouldn't be able to say to us, "Well, I know how to use a phone." But of course, today they can say that. But I wanted to see if you could do a little bit deeper dive into how you make the distinction between using the computer and using the computer for learning, because I think that was a critical distinction we tried to make from the very beginning with Sugar and One Laptop Per Child, was to really think about not just learning how to use the Office suite, but actually learning how to use the computer to think about and explore powerful ideas, sort of a la Papert.
Yeah, great question, Walter. Yeah, as you said, that's I think that's the hard part, not because it's hard per se, but it's because every single school is used to have this like teach, I don't know, let's say the lab or technology lab or whatever, where everyone goes there and learn, okay, this is the mouse, this is the computer, this is whatever, this is the keyboard. And I think that I would say I don't want to say the problem, because I don't like to talk about problems, but the opportunity that we have there is when we really train teachers and not the head of the lab, is very different. Because there's institution, I mean, we have institution who has labs. That's it. They want to have a lab, and they use the lab as a lab. You go there, 2 hours, a class of whatever, programming or whatever thing. And there's a different model. But if you want to do it in a massive way in schools, elementary or high school schools, and integrate it in the learning process, is a very different topic. It's a very different thing. So the way that we do that is, first we start training the teachers why they need a computer and how computers can help them to be a better teacher in general, not in a specific topic, because we talk with teachers who are maybe the science teacher and also the math teacher and also, I don't know, the music teacher, no? So when they understand that technology can help them, I don't know, do the planning faster, I don't know, use a format or template that they haven't seen before, or find videos, or I don't know, go to Wikipedia and find I don't know, answers of whatever thing, or when they found out that they can do tests really fast, or like with the technology, or they can even translate things that they don't know in another language. So they can, I mean, when we start the training with the teachers, or I mean, the people who are in charge of the pedagogical area, we are very focused on let's say the soft skills first. So then they will embrace what is really using a technology. And one thing that has been very positive, and I wanted to say that, and it's important, and now that I remember that, one is the internet, of course, and I'm going to put it there because it's a big thing. And the other one is the system that we're using right now, Endless, has something that is very unique, in my opinion. The look of the software is kind of exactly like a phone. They have like this group of things where they have all the apps. So you have the games, you have Spanish, you have math. So it's very easy for teachers because they are used to have it like that in the phones. So when they are using the computer, now they know if they want to create, let's say, a movie, well, they go to the let's say the folder of everything to create. And okay, in the folder that is create, you have everything, video, documents, whatever you want to create, no? So that has been very helpful. And also the team that we have in terms of organization, the vocation that they have to really make sure that the teacher are using the technology and not just, giving trainings and that's it. For me, the metrics or the goals are not like how many training we deploy, is how many teacher starts in red and now are in green. And for us, green has three things. You know the thing, you know how to how to do something, and you understand, so you can teach something. So the teacher has to pass the three levels. The knowing, which would be like, okay, you know what a computer is, the know how to use it, turn it on, turn it off, or whatever, and then to teach others to learn what is a computer. So that's part of our evaluation that in our model internally, that one sense. And the other thing is internet. Internet has been the issue, around the world. Of course, it's getting better every year and every time because it's the evolution of the internet per se. But it's expensive, it's still expensive, and it's a challenge. And I will say that it's still our challenge, even though that we have some kind of things that are working right now and in different places. But also we are ready to be offline if we don't have internet. So we can do offline and online, even though we don't want to promote be offline because we want everyone to be connected. I think that is the right of it's a human right. But if they don't have it, they don't have it, no? And we want to make sure the computer can be helpful in an environment that is not, that they don't have internet, no? So I would say that. I don't know if I answered, but I hope.
Yeah, I think that offers a lot of insight. I'm wishing, however, so last night I was reading. So Gary Steger has this wonderful compilation, 20 Things to Do with a Computer Forward 50, which is like a, spinning on 20 things to do with a computer. I was reading that last night, but I wish I had it right now because I read some really wonderful things in there, some really quotable items. Like one thing was, like using the computer, like teaching, the idea of like teaching the computer to do something. So like, an activity to teach the computer how to create. I think the example, and this is why it struck me so much, was to do a melody in inversion, because that's actually with music blocks one of the things that we had to do. But then there was an example in there like teaching the kids used there's an activity where they were using the computers as material to make a clock. So I think the activity was just like make a clock, and they could use any kind of material that they had at hand, not necessarily a computer, but those kids that did use the computers to make a clock, of course, those clocks were very accurate. Walter, are you recognizing any of this? I'm really wishing that I brought this book with me because that's where all the good quotes are.
I have a copy right around over my shoulder.
No, you know what, David? Thanks for saying that, because one thing that is very important also in our new OLPC 2.0 or whatever you want to call it, we want to make sure that everyone is in the reality. I mean, we don't want to have a whole generation, the virtual generation. No, we want to make sure that the kids are using technology, as you said, in things that are real. I mean, technology is a tool for us where you can learn and you can do things, but it's amazing when you can see as a student, I don't know, helping or doing a video of the harvest in a specific place where the parents work, and then sharing the video with the class. These type of things are things that we really want to promote. I mean, we want to make sure that they keep their life and the environment as safe as they are, and also we want to make sure that everyone is. I mean, that technology can help everyone in the place that you are. It's not like you need to go to the city or you need to go to whatever. No, it's this idea of technology as a virtual. Like now everyone has their own avatar, and we don't know if Mike is Mike and Devin is Devin, but we know we are not really into that. But not because anything, is more because our culture in Latin America, at least, is very. I mean, we're starting in that. And maybe you are very far away from where we are here, and as simple as you can go with the teachers and step by step, it's the results are going to be better. We don't expect them to go from 0 to 100 in 1 year. Of course, we want to make sure that they are in a pace that is always hard, but it's always achievable. Because if not, at the second class that they cannot use it, bye, computers are gone. No, so we want to make sure that they achieve things that since the very beginning, so they can use it. No, I always say to the teachers, like technology works, but if you really need that, because I have so many apps in my phone for whatever, for the gym, to run, to do what. Ask me how many hours I run a day. So it's great, the app, but if I'm not using the app, I'm not going to be better. So this link between being better person with the tool, it's something that we really care. Walter.
Yeah, so I'm curious. I mean, you spoke about the real world, and one of the things that we try to do with the original OLPC hardware, and actually I think phones do quite a good job of in general, is be sensor rich, so that there are ways in which the device itself can be used to measure the real world, and so you can bring real world data into your learning. Whether it's one of my favorite apps from the original One Laptop Per Child suite was an app called Measure, that just was, it basically was an oscilloscope. So you could attach different types of sensors, whether it was audio or an accelerometer or anything. In fact, you could plug an alligator clip into the microphone port and use that as a sensor from the physical world. So I'm wondering if so, and it also turns out to be really critical when you're thinking about sort of the maker space, maker-like activities, where you're trying to construct not just in the virtual world, but the physical world. So I'm wondering, is that a theme these days with One Laptop Per Child, or is it something you support?
I mean, I love it, and I remember that when I was in Intel, working at Intel, we used to have that in the classmates, but I haven't seen it in the last years. I mean, in the last, I would say that I have no idea if someone is using it in a specific school. I'm not really showing or teaching how to use it, but I think they are great. I think that there's a way. I mean, the sensor is something that is really good to improve things, no? And I feel like that at the end, that's what we want, no? I think that one topic that is important to discuss here is also, and maybe going back to what Claudia asked about the difference between cultures and between countries and the data and everything is, when we are designing these type of models for schools, we are in a different position. And the great thing that OLPC has, one of the greatest things that they have, is that we are in the field. I mean, we are with them. And because we are with them, we are every single year learning and growing in different areas and different topics in different directions, no? As you can see, we don't do much marketing, for example, because we believe that being with the people, and if the people are happy, our project is going to be as we are today, sustainable. After 14 years, and I was probably, I don't remember if it was to Claudia or to Devin or to who, but I was telling them that I think that OLPC has the biggest pilot that the world can have, because we have been for so many years, maybe not in the volume is not that every single country in every single world. No, we are probably 3 million people around the whole world. Okay, 3 million. We are just a few, but we have been using it with hot weather, cold weather, poor, not poor, with internet, without government, democratic dictatorships, whatever you name it. We have been trying. So we know, and that's a thing that is very important, because everyone believed that OLPC was what happened in Uruguay, and it's not like that. We learned from Uruguay when we start, and I know that you were there, and I mean all of you were there, so you can say much more than what I can say about the history of the model. But I'm sure that today we are in a very different position, and we have so much information to say that I will say that we are the best. I mean, the biggest pilot and the most constant project in, like for 14 years doing the same thing, with the typical changes. Claudia, you have your hand.
Yeah, I mean, I could continue. I just Walter brought memories to the work that I used to do at One Laptop Per Child, like with low-cost sensors and sort of soldering. And there were many organizations. I always liked the partnership, because we did partnership with so many organizations that were extending the computer. So I feel like you should, if it's not in your vision, it should be like things like people can repair. So there are so many other things that happen when you have a platform that invites for that type of collaboration, right? Like they did telescope. I remember the lowest cost was this drop of glue that you would put in your camera, and it was a microscope.
Yeah, it was great. I remember that.
Our friends, I know, Walter, they were your close friends, build this chassis that you put your computer there in Uruguay and became something else. So I think that all of that is great. I want to make sure that we speak in the minutes that we have about the future and your vision for the future, and how an organization like Sugar Labs and what we do could be, aligning and partnering in that future. I think if it's not in your vision, this idea of like building concrete things, I know you do in a 2-dimension, and I think that the 3-dimensional part is so important. What are the projects that kids are doing, because that's where collaboration happens. That's when iteration, tinkering, building, engineering, all of those other things happen. So, but I want to make sure that you have a chance to talk about the future and how we as an organization, but maybe others, can partner with One Laptop Per Child.
Great. Yep. Well, the future, and I mean, I was not thinking about the sensor, not because I was not thinking, it's because at this point I haven't had the opportunity to have it close to me. But of course, I'm super, I'm thinking right now, and I'm just writing that I want to do it, at least the test in different places that I know that we can start using it, because they are like in a position that they can really start using it. So totally open to start doing things. In terms of the future, I mean, I think that the future has some challenge for me. One is, how can we scale faster? because we have been working, as I say, for so many years, like every single year, and we have the results more than, I mean, since 2005 until today, we have results, different results. One things are better, one thing's not that better, but that good. But then we have been, I mean, the evolution, I will say that the average is positive and it's very positive. So how can we scale faster? It's not about the money, because I don't think that money is really the problem. I think it's more related to how many organizations are partnered with us. How many institutions can help us to really, spread things faster and in a different countries, in different languages? Because my team, I mean, we can do English, Spanish, and some French, but what happened in I don't know, Timor, or what happened in countries where we have, I mean, there's specific things that if we want to grow, we need to make sure that we have it, and it's expensive. No, it's expensive to create a structure that is so hard, because we don't want to impact the cost of the model because the partnership that we're doing. No, so in terms of future, my goal is to give access to everyone who need it, of course, and to make sure that every single school are using and the technology is integrated into the learning process. So that's a big goal, yes. Now, what we are expecting is, in my mind right now, is at least in every single continent to have a big model where we can start as we did in Central America, that we start with one thing and now we have the whole region, and we have been every single year, growing. Maybe not as fast as we wanted, but we have been growing. Like probably 500 schools. Then we go back, and then we go forward. It's hard because government, when you do things with government, more than anyone that they change the president, so you have to start all over again, and they stop everything. So future is, for me, how can we systematize more? How can we use more our data? I think that we have too much data, that we need to make sure that we can share that data with everyone, so we can prove what we are doing. It's not about demonstration, because I don't like that when they say, like, you need to demonstrate what you're doing. I don't want to demonstrate anything. I want to show what I'm doing. And if you have any question or anything, it will be great for me, because then I can improve something. No, it's not about I'm the best and I'm doing everything. So I'm open to have more discussions with academia. I think that is something that I really miss, having discussions, like very profound and very like specific discussions with academicians and with the students that maybe can help to develop things different. And that's it. I think that in summary, I would say, like, the challenge is internet. The challenge is how can we escalate faster and in the different countries. How can we get connected again with academia, because academia brings anything anyone can bring. And I would say that, I mean, be more like be clean what the image of what OLPC was something that in the future I'm working. I mean, right now I'm working, but I hope that in the future everyone can think, oh, no, OLPC is not what it was before. Not because it was wrong at the beginning, but because it was different, simply. No, it's not, for me, it's not wrong or right. It's more about the way it has been developed, no?
I mean, I'll jump in.
Yeah.
Maybe invite Walter, just because one of the things that I celebrate in terms of Sugar Labs is to see young people flourish, right? We have friends that work with us, have joined the board. We continue to see, but we met when they were 8. And one of the vehicles to do that is to a summer program that Walter has been leading. I participated more in the past, but I feel like there are other skills that are necessary, in particular when we're thinking about, the technology that is arriving, like AI and like language models and generative AI, like code, like all of these things that I feel like have left us with a bigger divide. So I'm curious to what that conversation can be and that opportunity can be, because I'm very proud of what Sugar Lab has done to be consistent and continue to support young people that are mentors, but also young people that are finding a support system and opportunities to grow their skills, and they're going to change the world. We need to do more of that. So Walter, I'll leave you with that one because this is your baby, but I think that's a great opportunity to maybe explore.
Yeah, I mean, I can certainly see us trying to expand some of our youth programs with OLPC, where again we get we get sort of late teen, early university level students as interns that try to solve real problems, both for sugar and for the community, and identifying some problems that are specific to OLPC as it currently is, and where OLPC might want to go in the future. Certainly would be a good point of synergy and collaboration between our organizations. We do tap into these kids, and they're amazing. And I know actually that there are plenty of amazing kids in Central America, for example, we're not tapping into these days, but reaching out to those kids as well and finding the opportunities for them would be, again, another good point of synergy between our organizations.
Sure. Well, maybe I don't know. I mean, you are in the academia and you have been creating this monster that is OLPC today, But I think that I don't know if I'm wrong, but I'm always thinking when we say, like, because I was looking at the music box and different things, and I think that are we really developing? I mean, or the people who are developing software are they really developing things that are useful for the reality of the communities that I mean, are you solving a necessity, or we are creating things that we think that are very important, but maybe for them are not? I mean, because if we talk about sensors, great. I feel like sensor is something that really, really helps, and the price and everything is great. But sometimes when you are in the field, what we can learn in the field is they are not ready for many things, and it's sad because we want to make sure. I mean, they have the ability, they have the probably skills, and they have the willing to do things, but they are not ready to use things that maybe for us are really great, but for them is, why do I need that? No. So yeah,
I would jump and say, like, of course you're not coming to impose, right? But people don't know what they don't know. But I would say the main driver is the purpose, right? Like, maybe for young people to have foundational knowledge and literacy in math, I don't know that anyone is going to question. Maybe people will question when those come. Papa would have said, if I have the purpose, right, like the opportunity to write something, the tool doesn't matter. It's really the purpose of writing something that is meaningful, that I care about, but it's not like a teacher coming to tell me. And I'm not claiming that that's what you do, but I would say, like, this foundational knowledge, no one's going to argue against, right? But to even have the opportunity to use technologies like the ones that Sugar Lab or One Laptop Per Child has for a particular purpose, because many, as kids get to like a middle school age or high school age, this education has no purpose. Why would I learn this concepts? Why would I? But if I have the opportunity to solve my problem, like Walter was describing, to create something concrete and to learn to use tools because I'm making my world better, I'm solving a problem in my community, I can use that concept that I had no idea why I was learning. That is the best vehicle to learn something,
yeah,
right? So
agree. Sorry to jump again, but I agree with that. But I don't know. Again, it's just an opinion in this, and it's Lylian opinion. It's not OLPC opinion. Sometimes I feel like we forgot that the teachers are key here, and sometimes, I mean, if I'm thinking, I mean, I'm just thinking loud, but if I'm thinking of bringing 10 students who deploy something, I don't know, I mean, who develop, something, whatever you name it, Okay, and they know, and they have the purpose, and they know everything, and they can do it. But the problem or the challenge is, how can we make sure that the teacher is trained to really train the students and to make sure that the purpose goes, all the way, I mean, in the whole ecosystem? Because sometimes, and you can see it clear when we have different models, no, and with different flavors, as we said before. There are students who can take the computers to their house, and there are students who can't, because security, because whatever. You of course, there are differences when you have it in the house and when you don't have it in the house. And at the end, the student can learn fast, and they are not scared of anything. Everything that you put in their hands is going to happen. But we have a teacher in the classroom, and we cannot forget about that. So what is your opinion on that? How can we?
I do have a strong one. I mean, I'm never saying that teachers should not be part of I mean, everything I do has a teacher also in mind, because
You are a teacher.
well, yeah, because an educator more generally, because an educator can be a mentor in a program that I bump into. But the educator role in my mind is not the one that is going to teach the kid, because you describe it well. The kid is going to fly with that technology. But if the teacher has that understanding that they have to create those opportunities for them to learn, and there is a network of support that is bigger than what the teacher can offer, which I think is always limited because we're older and all other things. I feel like that equation, it shouldn't be, we're not proposing because the teacher is incapable. I think the teacher should be capable of bringing these opportunities and getting them closer to the student in cases where the student goes to a building. In cases where the student does not have a building, how do we create those opportunities as well? So I think there are many things to discuss. Maybe this can be one of many conversations, David. David, thank you for bringing us together. I would love to see more collaboration. I know that there are big aspirations for one laptop per child, for the region I'm from, for a region of Latin America, for us to really build the skills and make sure that the students can use. And they're asking for preparation that is not just basic foundational skills. They're asking for technology, for skills, for opportunities to really
100%.
make this world a better place. So I love to
100%,
have more conversations. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And if we have, and I have just few words because we need to finish, but when we think about the teacher in a broader way, yeah, I mean, agree 100. But sometimes every single, in that sense, we are different in every single place, let's say a country or whatever, maybe a school. But well, I mean, but I agree. I think that we have to close the gap between the ones who really can create things and can think about creating, and give the opportunities for them in rural communities to also create what they need, no? And we have 2 minutes to end this, as Devin said.
I think one thing I got out of this is this is definitely part of a larger conversation that will certainly continue. And then the other thing I got out of this is a couple weeks ago he said, please come to Honduras. And, now I feel that's, just, I feel the urgency of that because I think it could really help. And she asked not just me, but like bring like a few people.
Yeah, everyone is invited to come to Honduras whenever you want to see the real thing function in the school.
But the stream is going to stop like in 60 seconds. So I just want to thank everyone for watching. We can stay in this room when it stops, but if you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much. Please follow our channel for more good stuff and for a continued dialogue of this. Part of the reason of doing this is just to help tell the story of, OLPC, Sugar Labs, and everyone else who's doing such great work. So with that, I will end the YouTube.
Thank you, Lylian and David.
No, thank you, and thank you, Devin, and it's great to have the opportunity to show to everyone that OLPC is more than a laptop, and with Sugar Lab we can create big things. So we're ready to work together.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Should we say something? Should we talk or still?
I stopped the YouTube stream.
Okay.